What's going on, Denton, Texas? Welcome to episode 81, season 5 of Talking Throws podcast, Texas style. I'm Coach Jason.
And I'm Coach Janelle.
And guys, we are throws coaches with the track club, the Thorn Factory. You can go to that website, thethornfactory.com, to check out our bios and get our contact information. Janelle is doing a really good job now currently with our youth throwers. So if you're a little girl that's 9, 10, 11, about to pick up the discus, if you're looking for some extra work, reach out to Coach Janelle and she can get you started for that. I'm doing some extra hammer stuff on the side, so if you want to start picking up hammer, feel free to reach out to us. So also, guys, if you're in Weatherford, Abilene, we got you taken care of. Coach Kai Smith out in the greater Brownwood, Stephenville area, former Abilene Christian thrower, and then Coach Morgan Knight out of Abilene, also a former Abilene Christian thrower as well. So if you're looking for any specialty training out in there, whether it's javelin, hammer, shot, or disc, Coach Knight or Coach Kai Smith should be able to take care of you on that. And then east at the Thorn Factory, led by Coach Jarvis. If you're in the East Texas area, Mesquite, Rockwall, Forney, Denison, Sherman area, or even Sunnyvale or Waxahachie or Corsicana, reach out to Coach Jarvis. His contact information is on the site as well. Remind everybody too that we have that YouTube channel, and be sure to go give us a thumbs up or thumbs down if you don't like what we're doing so far, but we prefer the thumbs up. Yeah, comments are good. So yes, suggestions
will be taken.
Yes For season 5, our sponsors, we can't do anything without those guys. Thank you for the loyalty. Batting leadoff is Texas Track and Field Coach Associations. That website is ttfca.org, ttfc.org. That's Stuart Cantor. There's 2023 recruiting already being posted on there. There is schedules coming out for 2023. I know there's been a lot of question about indoor meets being posted. According to Stuart, he sent out some emails. He's just waiting for a reply. Hopefully by October 1, which will be here this weekend, and maybe next week we'll get some confirmation on when those indoor meets will be set up. But just keep checking ttfc.org and to get that schedule out there. And then also to remind everybody about the Winter Clinic. Some of the guests that'll be there in 2023 is going to be Shelton Irvin, Adam Settless, Steven Sines, Alec Harris, Dr. Jordan Hart, Michael McCarroll. So anybody that you know in track and field, you want to be there. That's January 7th and 8th, I believe.
Yeah.
Or 6th and 7th.
Friday, whatever that.
Yeah, Friday and Saturday is.
Yeah.
So just go to that ttfsa.org website. 6th and 7th. Okay. Fourthrows.com, quality implements price right. Fourthrows.com, use the code TalkingThrows10 to get 10% off. If you're looking for hammer, weight, nets, training tools, anything you need in the throwing world, go to fourthrows.com, but be sure to use that code TalkingThrows10 to get that 10% off. Porta Circle, making throwing more accessible. Porta-circle.com. Use the code TalkingThrows10 again. Those Porta Circles are really good tools. I've been seeing a lot of people use them on social media, from little girls in their driveways to college athletes at parks. So really good tools to kind of put a visual for your ring, whether it's a shot or a discus. Again, that website is porta-circle.com. Use that code TalkingThrows10. Ready Up Athletic Development, read by Zach Phillips. His cell phone is 512-507-8347. That website is readyupad.com. Guys, if you are in the Austin area and looking for Olympic lifting, powerlifting, team training, whatever it is, reach out to Zach. Zach is an expert in the field. He does a lot in the lifting community. He's a great resource for myself. So if you're in that area and you're just there for 24 hours and you're looking for a place to go work out, go text him and tell him you found his information from the podcast, and he'll be able to take care of you. Also, too, he is doing programs as well, and he just came out with a new program that I want to make everybody aware of. The website is called trainheroic.com. trainheroic.com, and that's
Will be a link in the notes.
we'll put the link in the notes, and that is HEROIC, and the program is called Basic Throw Strength. Basic Throw Strength. And if you go in there, I'm looking at the site right now, all you have to do is search for Basic Throw Strength. Use the code THROWS10 and you're going to get 20% off the program. THROWS10 and you're going to get 20% off the program. This program can be used for a football player who's looking for some weekend training but still has to go do all his obligations to football Monday through Friday. It can be a volleyball player. She has to, play on Tuesdays and Friday nights, but she still needs to get the weight training in. This is the program set up for that. If you're a basketball player, same scenario. If you're a multi-sport athlete and you're trying to juggle club volleyball, school volleyball, but you still need the weight training, Zach designed this program especially for you. So go to Basic Heroic. Use the code THROWS10, but the program is called Basic Throw Strength, Basic Throw Strength, and that website again is Throw Heroic. So use the code, and we thank Zach Phillips for setting up this program for sure. And then also Fiber Sports Discus, looking for a new way to get the distance. Fiber Sports Discus, fibersportsdiscus.com. So did you know that you can go to thethornfactory.com, and at the bottom of the page there is a link to go to the Fiber Sports website or to 4 Throws, and you can use that code TalkingThrows10 to get that discount, whether it's a 1K, 2K, 1.6. I know Bruce has got some other stuff coming out with hammers and some other stuff like that. We want to be your dealer in the Dallas, Fort Worth, and even the state of Texas. So Fiber Sports Discus, use that code TalkingThrows10 to get that 10% off. Okay. Have I missed anything? I don't think so. No?
Nope, that's it.
We're good. All right.
We're good.
I'm excited about today's guest. Today's guest is the current throws coach at University of North Texas. He's been a throws coach for over 13 years. He's had 2 stops at Sam Houston State University, with one in between with UC Davis. Some of the accolades and accomplishments of his throwers is he's had 1 United States track and field national champion. He's had 2 throwers make the U.S. Olympic Trials. He's had 7 NCAA All-Americans. He's coached 24 conference championships. 24 conference champions. He just most recently led Kevin Grubbs to the World U-20. That was just this summer, and I think Kevin had a pretty good showing making the finals there. He has an undergrad from Sam Houston State graduating in 2009. He has his master's from Sam Houston State graduating in 2011. He was also the Southland Conference champion in the discus in 2009, where he threw 58-17. What's really cool is he followed that up with a first place finish at the NCAA Midwest regions with the 58-60, and that carried him into the NCAA Championships as well. He's also the current record holder in the discus at Sam Houston State. He has a javelin PR of 62-18. He has a discus PR of 60 meters 37. He has a hammer PR of 51-35, and he even threw weight. We're not going to talk about a shot put. And his weight is 16-20. Please welcome to Talking Throws Podcast, Texas Style, episode 81. My good buddy and one of my best friends, Jon Tipton.
Hey.
There y'all are.
What's up?
Nothing. How are y'all doing?
We're well. Dude, you don't have your cowboy hat on?
That's funny. We were just talking about that before you got on.
We got to have the full mystique of Jon Tipton, you know?
No, we'll save that. We'll save that.
It's the first time in the green, too. Looking good in the green.
Thank you. Thank you.
Like it.
So, how you doing, bud?
And I'm doing excellent. Just getting in from practice, wrapping up some meetings with some athletes. Hopped in the shower, grabbed a bite to eat.
Good.
Here I am.
All right. So first off, congratulations, right?
Yeah.
Got another one on the way?
No,
No?
not yet. Not yet.
Okay. Okay. I thought I saw something more that wasn't you?
No, that's my little brother. My little brother's having his first baby.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Got that.
was like, wait, what is
I know I was, that's the reason I was asking. So I was a little confused on that.
Right.
So we'll delete that out.
Just one second, guys. I'm gonna
All
close
right.
my book. Sorry about that.
Oh, no worries, man.
Good.
No worries. So we're going to start basically current, kind of work our way back. If, trials and tribulations, success, everything we need to know about University of North Texas, your coaching philosophy, anything going on that you want to share in the community. We just kind of go from there. Okay.
All right.
All the way back to how good you were in shot put.
I don't know if I was decent in high school.
Oh yeah. You'll have to listen to the intro because I just did all your PRs, but I didn't put shot put.
And I was like, what about shot put? He's like, we're not going to talk about shot put.
I appreciate that.
Trying to help you out the best we can.
I appreciate it.
Well, dude, what is going on at UNT? You've been there a few months. Update us. What do y'all got working on?
Yeah, so right now we're just trying to, get everything established. All the event coaches are trying to get their programs implemented. It's a brand new staff. We're grateful for this opportunity. We're not trying to do anything better. We're just trying to do things different. We're trying to do things our way. And so far we've got a lot of great reception from the athletes, good positive feedback. And we're just trying to build and grow and develop. We're trying to teach fundamentals right now. A lot of things that people often overlook, but we believe that as a staff, that if we can be great at fundamentals, then the other stuff's going to take care of itself when it's time to. So,
awesome.
Yeah.
Who's the head coach? Who's the new head coach there?
Coach Doug Marshall. He was at Iowa Western.
Okay.
Won a few national championships there. He's a Texas guy. He was from San Antonio.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a wonderful guy. Great boss, great mentor, great leader.
So everybody is new. All the event coaches, the whole staff. Did anybody know each other before you guys all came to North Texas?
So Coach Marshall and the multis hurdle coach and the sprint coach were all at Iowa Western together.
Okay.
So we brought those two in with him. Coach Stevens was at Texas State. He's a distance coach here. And then, of course, I was at Sam Houston.
Okay. So tell us a little about I think y'all have a new track there at UNT, right?
It was built right before the pandemic, so fairly new. It's as good of any track as I've ever been on. Our throws facility is amazing. That's something that they've done a fantastic job at North Texas. The facilities are crazy. The facilities and the resources to the student athletes is as good as any Power 5 that I've ever seen.
Wow. So how many rings do you have? A hammer cage? How many hammer cages do you have? Discus rings, shot put rings?
Yeah, so I have a hammer discus cage facing the north.
Okay.
That sector is about 90 meters.
Okay.
I have a discus only a ring facing the south. I have 3 shot put rings facing the west, and then I have a javelin runway facing the north.
Okay.
Nice.
Kind of northwest-ish.
Nice. Is the javelin runway inside the track? You know how you run from the lanes?
No, it's all outside. We are just west of the track. Like we're attached right there. So all the throws are right there. It's for me, it's idyllic. If I was to build a facility, this is basically how I would do it.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
That's awesome.
Now, does the track team, the track and field, do they have their own locker room within the stadium, or do y'all share with another sport?
Right. So we have a track soccer field house kind of northwest of the track right there. So we walk right out of the track soccer field house right into the hammer field. Like it's right there. Yeah, so it's really convenient. We do share with our women's soccer team. Our women's soccer team's amazing. They're they're always in contention for conference championships and doing amazing things. They have a great staff and a great group of young ladies. So
Awesome.
great people to share a facility with.
Yeah, great environment to be around.
Now, you don't have a soccer goal out in the middle of your hammer ring, do you? Out in the center?
No. Thankfully. It's far enough away.
It's far enough away.
Yeah,
I've always wondered, did you transition a goalie to a hammer thrower, I guess?
They may want to dodge the hammer instead of catching it.
First try. Well, so you've been there a few months. How's recruiting going? How's the team's mood? How's the transition, from the new coach and everything?
Yeah, so recruiting's going well. Our priority has been to kind of establish our regime in this and with these current student athletes and try and make sure that they're set up. But trying to slowly incorporate the recruiting. Recruiting's going well. Not much I can really talk about in terms of the recruiting stuff, but we're excited. There's a lot of talent in the area, local talent, and Texas is the greatest place in America for track and field. So, and our location is fantastic. We can drive 5 hours in any direction and and find anything that we could imagine. So, what was the second part of that question?
Oh, well, just from North Texas, what are some of if a student athlete was looking at North Texas, what are some of the most popular programs to study? Kind of what is North Texas known for? And then tell us a little bit about Denton as well.
Yeah, so North Texas, I mean, it's a big university. We have just about any field of study. They do things really well academically. And cost of tuition's relatively cheap. It's one of the cheaper ones in Texas. We've got 44,000 students, but you wouldn't know that. Yeah, it's big. Denton as a community is unique. It's like I don't want to say it's like an Austin because Austin is its own kind of place, but there's some similarities in terms of just the social climate, the traffic, there's so many similarities that that's if I could put one thing on it, it would be like a miniature Austin. Gotcha. Lots of local eateries, so it's been amazing. I haven't got to do as much as I would like to. Right now, my family's still down in Conroe. We actually just got an offer on our house today, which is a whole new thing. A whole nother thing about college athletics and coaching that nobody talks about is transitioning.
That's why you marry a realtor.
That's the next thing is, we got an offer. We're probably going to accept it, or they're going to accept our counter offer. We're going to go under contract pretty soon, but then it's going to be finding a place up here. And the housing market up here is insane.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, they're building like crazy around there.
Yeah, that's the tough part of being a coach, in that situation when you're transitioning from an old job to the new job. People don't realize sometimes moms and the kiddos have to stay back because the kids might be in school or, mom might have her current job and she just can't pack up and leave, right?
Right. Yeah, no, exactly. And that's the thing, like, so right now we can't carry 2 mortgages, and the cost to rent an apartment is more than our current mortgage.
Yeah.
So right now it's a lot of couch hopping. If I work late, I bust out the air mattress. I'll sleep on, like, I have no problems doing whatever I need to do as long as my wife and daughter are taken care of. So
that's awesome.
I got an extra tent if you need a tent when it cools off, if you like to camp outside. He's not much of a camper, so
no,
not in a tent.
John and I we're gonna get air mattresses and we're gonna go sleep in that hammer and look up at the stars.
Well, I didn't even mention we've got like, I don't know, if I had to imagine, it's 40 by 100 foot, so 4,000 square foot storage building. It's got 4 platforms in it. Like,
oh wow.
Yeah, so that's right here at the track too. So we can always just camp out in there.
There you go. Wow. Now, do you get access to the indoor football facility? I know football season's using it and all that type of stuff, but during the season, maybe when they're in their off season, will you have access to training there?
Yeah, no, we will. Football pretty much trains in the morning. We all train in the afternoon. So we, in weather situations, we could go on the indoor facility. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to turn that storage building into basically a throws dungeon. So hanging a net and tarps, I can roll out a javelin run. It's big enough to where we could do, some short approach stuff in the javelin, throw hammers in there. So, and why I want to do that is so the sprinters and jumpers and multi-eventers, they can use the indoor practice facility and not have to dodge any hammers and weights.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd
So-
be nice.
Now, will y'all be looking to host some meets and stuff in 2023 outdoor meets?
Yeah, so we're gonna host the conference meet, Conference USA.
Okay.
Yep. So that's, we're hosting cross country here in a few weeks, and then we get to turn around and host outdoor. So that's been a challenge as well, trying to get all that implemented. We're looking at hosting some meets, 1 or 2 meets, collegiately, and then we're trying to get it to where, if there's some entities that want to come in and use our facilities during summer tracks or major championships, because we have great facilities, great location. And if we can get people to come to campus and utilize our facilities, it's a win-win.
For sure. Yeah. The facilities up there are tremendous. So tell our listeners a little bit about your coaching philosophy and kind of maybe some of an athlete that you look to develop, because in your past you've done a tremendous job of taking that unknown athlete and turn them into something really, really special. Kind of walk us through your philosophy as a coach, as a throws coach.
Well, number one, I believe in consistency. In order for an athlete to be consistent, they have to be healthy, mind, body, and spirit. So trying to make sure that we encompass the athlete in 360 degrees of support. Here at North Texas, we've got 2 nutritionists that work with track and field, 2 sports psychologists that work track and field, 2 athletic trainers that work with track and field. So it allows us to really expand that network of support. But that's my number one thing. Outside of that, developing the total athlete to make sure that they're resilient, training in multiple planes of movement, multi-directional, single support, double support, and developing a resilient athlete and developing the athlete as an athlete, not just as a thrower. And then from there, my technical models, I really don't have specific technical models. I've been blessed to be around and speak with and learn from the greatest resource in the world, which is the internet. And so what I get to do is I get to pick apart different training programs and find commonalities. So when it comes to my technical system, it's based off of balance, direction, rhythm, path of implement or orbit, and then the acceleration pattern. So if I can separate, if I can, take care of balance and then move on to the next thing, direction. Okay, now we're balanced, we're moving in the right direction. What's our rhythm? What's our cadence like? What is the path? If it's a linear event, are we keeping it on a line or is it deviating? What is the orbit like in the hammer shot disc? And then, are we accelerating through the release? Other than that, everything else is stylistic to me.
Really? So do you have are you of the opinion that all sizes can throw versus the 6'4", 260-pound discus thrower or the 6'1" glide shot female? Would you take a 5'11", 275 boy? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I think everybody has the ability to, as long as they're willing to work hard. That's the great thing about track and field is your results are directly correlated to your ability to persevere and just do the work. The work you put in, you'll see in the results. And so there's no substitute for reps. So it's a skill. Number one, throwing is a skill, and all skills can be acquired.
Sure.
I've never heard of it like that. Cool.
I have a question. He may jump ahead. So you talked about having, I usually don't ask many questions, but so about 2 sports psychologists on the track and field. How, I think back to probably even when you were an athlete and when we didn't have,
Right.
sports psychologists. Suck it up and go, right? Figure it out. So how important is that? And how much, do you think a thrower needs that psychologist because the technical parts of throwing and the mental aspect?
Yeah, no, it's important. And as a matter of fact, today at practice, our 2 sports psychologists came and watched our throwing session. So it's important. That's amazing, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's incredibly important. Number one, athletes today are inundated with input. They're always receiving some sort of stimulus, and they don't have an outlet for it. So giving kids an outlet, whether it's with a coach, with a parent, or with a sports psychologist or an athletic trainer or a strength coach, like to me is incredibly important, because if you get all that stuff bottled up, like, it's just going to lead to disaster. I believe in managing psychosocial stresses. So the outside stresses, boyfriend, girlfriend, parents, jobs, like managing the psychosocial stresses is really important. And the sports psychology team can help us learn to compartmentalize. They can also, as a thrower, help us with visualization, positive self-talk, body image issues, particularly with females,
Yep.
Even males to an extent. They may think they're big and swole, and then, but they're not.
They're just
so even so, it just kind of helps bridge that gap and gives kids that outlet. And for me, because I do all their athletic development, all their strength conditioning, and all their throws, for me, it gives my kids another voice to hear. And we've got two wonderful sports psychologists who I've sat down and chatted with several times about kind of some things that I'm looking for to implement, not just with my group, but with the team too, because I think that's a huge resource to have and not utilize. To me, would be a waste of everybody's time.
Awesome. Now, does that resource, can the thrower go to that person directly, or do they have to go through you, or can you go to the sports psychologist and say, hey, you might want to go talk to such and such. She's kind of been in a funk the last couple of days.
All the above.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So if if an athlete is having an issue and they want to speak to a sports psychologist, they don't have to communicate that to me. That being said, if I'm paying attention and doing my job as a coach and I'm recognizing body language and cues and things like that, then I can kind of step in like, hey, like what's going on? Do we need to have a conversation, or would you feel more comfortable talking to our psychologist about whatever it is going on? So I can also, push them that way. And, likewise, the sports psychologist may see something in training that I'm not picking up on, and they may pull them off to the side and like, hey, I know coach is talking to you about focusing. You can't feel this, like, and then maybe they'll take them through some visualization or some cueing out, like, and so it's just, like I said, it's, to me, like,
a valuable resource.
Yes, it's invaluable.
Yeah.
Sports psychology is as important as the athletic trainer.
For sure. Yeah, for sure.
And both of those are as important as the nutritionist.
Yeah. You got to, just like you said initially, mind, body, and spirit. It's 360 degrees. For sure. So you just said you control their weights, you control their technical training and all that type of stuff. So Monday through Friday, kind of walk us through, what y'all are doing right now as a group.
Right. So right now, it's a lot of teaching. So I'm probably on the drills a lot longer than I would want to, but with a whole new group of athletes, it's a lot of learning the vocabulary, learning what I'm looking for, learning how I coach, and trying to do that at full speed would be really tough for the athletes. And I'd be naive to think that they would be picking up what I'm trying to ask them to do. So we're going through things nice and slow. So Monday through Thursday, we're just drilling. Fridays, we're kind of throwing. That's when we're trying to piece everything together. And then we're back drilling Monday through Thursday. Monday, we do rudimentary jump circuits right now, lower leg conditioning, not like a cardiovascular fitness conditioning, but trying to make sure that the lower leg, the shins, the ankles, the calves, that they're all stable and supportive and operating. Tuesday is one of our big lifting days. That's our pulling day and our flat bench day. So I do everything. I rotate exercises through. So one week it may be like a high hang clean followed by from the floor clean high pulls. The next week it may be from the floor cleans, and then we may do like a deadlift variation. So pull can be either an Olympic variation or a deadlift variation, and then flat bench. And usually what I do on those days is like if it's a deadlift day, I'll try and take care of the low back afterwards. We'll do some specific strength development for those lifts. So typically if it's a flat bench day, we're doing tricep development, and if it's a deadlift day, we're doing some kind of posterior chain development as our secondary exercises. And then we'd always do a 3-way core series, so frontal, sagittal, and transverse plane. Right now we're big into bracing. So can we brace, a banded side bend? So not letting the band pull us down. Likewise, like a Pallof press to resist the rotational, or like a stability ball rollout, so we're not getting into extension. The biggest thing right now we're working on is posture, core stability, and then trying to learn how to get our hips into flexion, which to me is like basic movements that have been overlooked. Then we come back Wednesdays, more of a recovery day. We'll do multi throws, so like medicine ball, overhead backs, chase after it, 5 to 10 times, underhand fronts, different things like that. Thursday is going to be our sprint day. So that's when we're going to do our acceleration development. Right now we're just learning how to accelerate, and then we'll get into resisted accelerations, parallel pushes, and hill runs and things like that. And then Friday is our big squat day. So Fridays we'll do either snatch or jerk. Right now it's all snatch. The jerk's a little bit simpler, so we'll do jerks throughout the year, but right now just learning the snatch movement. Big squat day, again, we rotate exercises, so it may be a split squat one week, a safety bar, Hatfield squat the next week, a box squat, a full squat. So I'll rotate exercises through, and then that's our incline day. And on those days we do leg development, shoulder development, and then rep abs.
Wow.
But the reason why I rotate exercises, particularly with the big three, our Olympics and our squat and our bench or our deadlift or whatever, is again to keep them relatively healthy. You can overtrain, overuse the knees if you're just going through like an 8-week squat. If you go through a 6-week bench cycle, your shoulders are going to get lit up. So I really like to rotate to keep the athletes healthy.
Awesome. On the sprint, what's the maximum distance on the sprint?
I think that depends on time of year. We'll start off usually about 30 meters, get up to about 60 meters with most of my rotational circle throwers.
Okay.
Javelin throwers, they'll get up to 150 meters.
Oh, okay. Okay. Nice.
Sprint's writing all that down, so you remember.
I'm right. Well, I'll just call him and get it from him.
Or we have it recorded.
We record it and do all that type of stuff. So, dude, thanks for sharing that. So, the first big obvious question, dude, is you grew up in Huntsville, Texas. You became a man in Huntsville, Texas. You came back to Huntsville, Texas twice. I'm sure it was tough to leave Huntsville, Texas, wasn't it?
It was. That place will be forever, like in my heart and in my spirit, and part of who I am. It's made me who I am today, from a 18-year-old running around getting in trouble, almost getting kicked out of school and doing dumb things, to second chances and meeting, my wife, so Huntsville, like I owe who I am to Huntsville. That being said, you spend too long in one place. Sorry.
That's all right.
I don't know what happened. You spend too much time in one place, and things get a little stale. And it was just time for a change, time for me to go out and do something else professionally. My wife worked at Sam Houston State for a long time, and she took a job working from home this summer, and that opened up doors and availability for me. So I was able to explore new options, and with the support of Coach Self, the head coach at Sam Houston, he encouraged me. He was a great mentor to me, and I hope he'll continue to be. We've developed a friendship, but we knew that what we did for so long at Sam Houston wasn't sustainable, and in order for me to grow and in order for that program to go, or to grow, something needed to change. And so I'm fortunate, I'm lucky, I'm happy. I was born and raised in Wichita Falls, which is 2 hours north.
Yeah.
So I'm closer to my mom. And my mom's gone through a lot in the past 10 years. She's lost a husband and lost a son. So being able to be up here and give her a little bit of support and see my daughter have be in her life and give her, it's just the best of everything, professionally and personally, especially once I get my family moved up here.
For sure.
Oh,
For sure.
that's
Rumor
awesome.
has it, outside that big Sam Houston statue on the highway, they're going to put like a little miniature of you on the side.
No.
You holding the discus, there'll be a quote from Disturb underneath you.
No, that'll be Chris Cralle before that'll be me.
Might be both of you. When you first kind of made this transition, to go from Sam Houston to North Texas, was there anything kind of sentimental that maybe part of you was like, okay, I should stay? Is this something I should maybe wait a couple of years until, am I more ready? You know what I'm kind of saying? Did you kind of fight your own thoughts a little bit?
No. And the reason why is because my professional goals and aspirations are to do things at, I either ultimately want to end up at, I want to spend some time either at the Power Five as an assistant, or I want to be a mid-major head coach.
Okay.
We'll see how my journey unfolds. And that being said, I could also see myself at North Texas forever. Granted, I've only been here for 2 months, but when this place just feels like it feels right. When I was speaking with Coach Marshall, got to know him, got to know the staff here. It just felt so right. There was no second guessing for me whatsoever. I enjoyed my time at Sam Houston probably a little bit too much.
Yeah.
But no, like I said, I wouldn't change that experience for anything. It's made me who I am today. But once I make a decision, it's full head of steam. This train doesn't stop.
Yeah, for sure. Where's the aspirations of wanting to be a head coach? Because that's the first, and you and I've had numerous conversations. That's the first I've ever heard of you wanting to be a head coach. Has that always kind of been a goal for you long term?
No, it's relatively new.
Okay.
Here in the past few years, I just feel like in order to do the things that I want to do professionally, it's going to take me being a head coach. And I'm talking about ultimate goals.
Yeah.
This could be 20 or 30 years from now. I plan on doing this, ultimately, not until the day I die, but I'll be pretty old when I stop. But no, it's relatively new. And Coach Marshall's been really he's kind of allowed me to kind of have some autonomy in some things, and he's put me in situations, to kind of help, and so that's part of the reason why this move made a lot of sense, because he's encouraging me and helping develop and mentor me in that capacity. But yeah, no, it's being a head coach. I understand what I wouldn't have the time or the resources or the availability to be a great throws coach. Right now I have days where I spend 10 hours outside, and it's a normal day. And as a head coach, I wouldn't be able to do that. But what I would be able to do is I would be able to share my wisdom, my knowledge, my passion with more people outside of just my 14 throwers. And I think that there's a lot of people that have made me who I am. And anytime I have an opportunity to speak, I'm speaking for all of my previous athletes, all of my previous coaches, all the people who have helped me along the way, every person's article I've read, and so that's what it's about, is trying to give that voice to live on from, people like Judd Logan or Louis Simmons, the Charles Poliquin, these people who gave so much of their lives to bettering other people. And I had the opportunity to read and absorb as much as I could while I was, still trying to figure out who I am as a coach. and trying to share a lot of that passion and knowledge with them, with other people.
Awesome.
That's
Awesome. Now you because you had 2 stints at Sam Houston. There was about a 2-year period where you kind of left Texas and went to UC Davis, right?
Yes.
What was one thing out of that experience that you learned that you brought back to Sam Houston, maybe, or in your coaching philosophy that second time around?
That's a great question. For me, I think it was using the resources available at UC Davis. We had a sports psychologist. We had some resources there, and I had the opportunity to learn. We had a great sports scientist at UC Davis, Dr. Barr, who's done tremendous work, particularly with tendinopathy and dealing. And so just learning to use the resources, that's number one. Number two, I think, just being unapologetically myself. And there's going to be people that don't like how straightforward I am, but if I can explain to them, like, number one, I'm too stupid to lie, so this is just me being genuine. And I'm too smart to say I guarantee or I promise this is going to happen. So like just being unapologetically me and giving a crap about the kids, and all that's going to be reciprocated.
Awesome. Great answer for that. Great answer. Well, great segue. So you sent me your CV. So we're going to do a little trivia. So I'm going to test your knowledge. So I'm not going to tell you the person, but I'm going to give an accomplishment they made. I want to see if you know who that is.
Okay.
Very simple.
I feel like we should have given him signs.
Right. Yeah. I should have printed it off.
Yeah.
All right. If you need a little hint, we'll give you a hint, but I think you'll get these. Female 2016 United States track and field Olympic qualifier in the hammer throw.
Ashley Jenkins.
Very good. Very good. Nice.
That was easy.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know.
2014 NCAA track and field West prelim qualifier in the hammer throw. 2014. He's a fellow coach.
2014.
Yes.
It's a man. Brett Christensen.
Yes. Very good. Very good. 2018 All Southland Conference in the shot put, second place. She was also 2021 All Southland Conference in the shot put, third place.
Haley Daniel.
Very good. Look at you. Look at you.
We've got to get harder ones.
We got to get harder ones. Okay.
That's a lot.
It is a lot. I know.
Amazing coaching.
Oh, here we go. Southland Conference meet record holder in the weight throw. Then say I'll skip that one. Okay. We'll go.
Go way back. Do that one.
Okay. 2015 NCAA track and field champion West prelim qualifier in the hammer throw. 2015.
Male or female?
Female.
Ashley Jenkins did that.
Yeah.
Female.
Last name starts with a Q.
Adrian Quillen.
There you go. Adrian Quillen.
Yeah.
That's quite the resume right there.
Yeah, it is. Oh, I'll give you an easy one. 2022 U-20 World Championship qualifier.
Kevin Grubbs.
Yes, sir. How's he doing?
He's doing good. Fortunately, I had a couple athletes, from Sam Houston that did come to North Texas, and they're doing well. The transition's been amazing. The support, and then them helping me transition into the group it's been a tremendous thing. Kevin, I mean, his season didn't finish till the early August, mid-August. So he took a few weeks off, and then we were back at it. And so doing a lot of these drilling and kind of some of these rudimentary things for him it's been a welcome probably time for him. Frustrating as heck because he's coming off of competition, and I was like, why am I doing these basic things? I was just at like this. Yeah. It's like, well, we got things to work on, man.
Yeah, for sure. That had to be just so, I don't want to say self-satisfying, but just amazing experience to see him throw and watch him go through that experience, right?
No, it was incredible. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to actually be there,
Yeah.
but I did have a couple of people there. Pete Miller at Minnesota was there, and Kibwe was the national throws coach there. So I was able to kind of get some information from them and some other coaches as well. But yeah, Kevin, I mean, he's a competitor. He's a quality man. He's still young. He's still got a lot of learning and growing to do, but you know, his mom's done an amazing job of raising him, and she's laid the foundation. And then that's why I include all my athletes in everything that I have, is because I'm not me without them. And if an athlete, you know, has done these things, then that's on them. I tell my kids all the time, you own your success, I'll own your failures. What I allow, I promote. So if you don't succeed, it's because something I either allowed or I didn't do as a coach. So I'll own your failures, but you have to own your success.
Awesome.
So
Right.
that's why all of them are in there.
Yeah, for sure, for sure, for sure. So I just wanted to test your knowledge of a few. So I'm not going to make you brainstorm for too long. So
Yeah, the
all
days,
right.
the years are running together. I don't even know. Like I know everybody on there.
See, Janelle wants to do more. She's like,
Well,
well, ask him
no.
this.
Well, it's because I know my daughter threw at Stephen F. Austin, so she was a thrower. She was there for 3 years, and so some of these names I remember seeing them, like Ashley Jenkins. I remember watching her throw hammer when I was the mom following this kid who had never thrown hammer before, who was just an average thrower, but who worked really hard. My kid worked really hard.
Yeah.
She just wasn't going to be on the medal stand by herself, but she may have some conference championship rings where she beat y'all a few times, but it also went back the other way.
That happened a lot.
That was some serious, though. I mean, you may get into that, Sam Houston and SFA, but man, I loved it. There were meets. Came down to the wire. So go ahead and ask your questions. But anyway, they were fun and exciting. I remember driving home from one of the outdoor meets because I had to head home, having Cammie text me the whole time because it came down like to the mile relay.
Right.
And I was like, did you win? Did you not? And I'm texting her as I'm driving. I wanted to stay in Louisiana, or I don't remember what year it was, and watch because it was just a cool competition.
Yeah.
And I got to see you coach a lot. So I brought up the cowboy hat.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
I appreciate it.
And that's a great segue. What is something, because hopefully a lot of people will listen to this, what is something people don't know about the Southland Conference that you would want to share, because it's damn competitive down in there. And even think people look at it maybe as a low Division I AA when it comes to football. Man, the Southland Conference has produced some great throwers. One of your best friends, Chris Cralle, came out of the Southland Conference. There's been a lot of people that had great success. What is about the Southland Conference, that makes it so competitive, so to speak?
Yeah, so the Southland Conference, a lot of the best coaching in America is going to happen at a mid-major. Now, the best managers of talent and the best managers of people are going to be at Power Fives. Ultimately, that's why, is because they can manage really well. But in terms of development and coaching, a lot of that is going to happen at a mid-major. And where we were at in the Southland Conference with all the Texas schools and the Louisiana schools, that was a damn good power speed conference. And there was a time there where we were really, really good in the distance events as well. We've joked around with some of my friends in the coaching world, like the Southland Conference, when the Texas schools were in there, it was like the SEC light. There were always people, outperforming, some of the best athletes in the world during that stretch of time there. And there was it was just, I think it had a lot to do with location, because there is no substitute for location. Proximity is everything. And then the coaching, the coaching, it was very easy. There wasn't any frills. There wasn't any fluff. It was work hard, be kind of blue collar with your attitude, and be pissed off for greatness. And I think a lot of people just got dirty, and they They weren't scared to work and get better. And from a coach's standpoint, a lot of the coaches back then were young and hungry, or they were older and established, and they were just really good coaches, and they knew if they would have moved on to the next level, they wouldn't have been able to be as effective.
Yeah.
So it was just an amazing time in the Southland Conference.
Did you, and that's a great leeway into you being a thrower in the Southland Conference. Did you take that mentality as a thrower a little bit and cultivate it into your coaching style? Kind of when you were very early on as maybe a grad assistant at Sam?
Yeah. So
the Texas Track and Field Coaches Association, coaches education through our annual winter clinic, the state's #1 track and field clinic, Texas Track and Field promotion, our postseason Meet of Champions, lobbying efforts with the state's governing bodies, the Texas Track and Field Hall of Fame. If it involves Texas Track and Field, we're at the forefront. Join our mission in continuing to make Texas Track and Field the nation's best.
Yeah, so I've stumbled upon this quote here recently about it's not becoming a monster. Like you want to become a monster, but then if you don't have that edge, if you don't have that intensity, then you're never going to really be successful in anything. You have to have an edge and intensity about you, a central focus. I'm going to find what I love and I'm going to let it kill me type of attitude. And then what maturity is learning how to control that. So as a young coach, it was screaming and intensity, and I'm going to will everything to happen. And now it's more along the lines when I need to be intense, I'm going to be intense. When we need to celebrate something, we're going to be excited. When I need to get my point across, I'm going to be stern. But for the most part, the kids want to get better. They know what it takes to get better, and it's just me as a coach holding them accountable to what they already know. Awesome. That's what kids are looking for. They just want to be they don't want special treatment. They don't need all this extra stuff. They just want to be loved on, and they want to be coached hard. I'm going to coach you hard, and I'm going to love you hard.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. So let's go back to your senior year, being a Southland Conference champion in the discus. Coach yourself. Should you have won the Olympics that year?
No. No, but funny enough, the best year I ever had was in 2011. And I was throwing right under my PR consistently. So in 2009, won the Southland Conference Championship, went on to the region meet, won the region meet, went to the NCAAs and just completely bombed. And I didn't have any emotion about it, and that's what pissed me off the most. I just went and I shouldn't have even showed up that day. But then 2 weeks later at the USA Championships, I throw pretty well and I get 9. So I'm like, okay, cool. Well, then I transition into coaching and GA, and my training takes a back seat so I can really learn what I'm doing and give back to my athletes. But then in 2011, I picked it back up and I was training really well, really consistent. And I entered into the USA Championships, and I get to Eugene and I go check in. They say, you didn't qualify. I was like, what are you talking about? I'm a provisional qualifier. I'm 18th on the descending order list. I thought that's what y'all accepted. Well, entries came out today and we didn't accept your entry. So yes.
You're already in Oregon. Oh.
And I was throwing really well that year too. I had some training sessions with my old coach, Andy Fryman, while I was out there. And he was just kind of reinforcing some things that I was working on. And I was hitting some throws that I think were 63, 64 meters in practice. And, that was going to be the launching point of my professional career. And then they just said, nope.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow. So they didn't even, they just were like, no, there wasn't an error, an oversight or nothing.
Nope. They said I could buy a ticket and watch.
Oh, wow. Did you?
No.
No.
I told them I told them this isn't acceptable. I went and spoke to my athlete rep. I spoke to some people higher up, and they were like, sorry, there's nothing we can do, but here's the credential if you want to stay and watch the competition.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
man, but I was already there, already had my hotel rooms. Like I was there. And so what was I gonna do?
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
Yeah.
so that was kind of the end of my career. In 2012, I competed at the Olympic Trials, but it was more along the lines of like, uh, USATF, you took my career away. I'm taking this spot for myself. And I thought I was going to be able to get back into it, but I got the coaching bug a little bit more than I thought I was going to, because
Yeah.
I graduated, I didn't know what I was going to do, and I just fell into a GA position, and then that ran out, and I applied at a few schools and got a call from UC. So it just kind of happened.
Yeah.
But
So were you, while you were in school, were you thinking about coaching? Were you an athlete? Were you, or part of you? Because I know when I played, I was professional football. I wanted, and you know, being a coach was like the backup to the backup. Was that your mentality?
no, I had no interest in being a coach. Andy Fryman, like I said, my coach my senior year took another job, and they didn't have anybody, and Coach Self asked if I wouldn't do it, so I did, and that's where I got the opportunity to work with Chris Cralle, Brett Christensen. He was my first, like I was his first coach in college, and then his last coach in college. I just kind of fell into it, and I just had that rapport with the kids. And if I had wanted to be a coach, then I probably would have paid a lot more attention to what's and whys and hows, and it would have saved me about 10 years of this journey. But I'll fail more than I'll succeed in this sport and in this profession, and that's okay. I'm accepting that. But
Yeah, that's how you learn, right? You were able
100%.
to probably learn more throughout it.
I have no problems with failing. Failing just means like I'll find another way to do it.
That's
Exactly.
a great point. Great
But
point.
I have
So,
no interest in coaching, and it just kind of happened to me.
yeah, for
That's
sure.
awesome.
So you threw discus, and you said earlier you grew up in Wichita Falls, but you also threw hammer at Sam Houston. So I'm curious to know, how was that transition into your hammer training? Because now as a coach, dude, you are highly regarded as a hammer thrower coach, and has produced a lot of good ones. So basically you started from nothing.
Yeah, I was not a good collegiate hammer thrower. I was not a good collegiate weight thrower. I was not a good collegiate shot putter. But I learned a lot more in my first 2 years of coaching than I ever did as an athlete. And even like after I graduated, just from coaching the hammer, I was actually able to get some decent marks and throw, out there with Chris and Breck and throw 58, 60 meters. And, it was okay. But yeah, so just my first athlete was Chris Cralle. I won't ever like claim him as my athlete, but when you look at, like, I got to sit there and watch Chris Crawley's process and talk to him about his thought process, what he was looking for, what he wanted me to look for, what he wanted to do in training. That was my first experience as a coach. So I just got to really just hang out with my best friend, watch him train and learn. And he was and probably still is one of the most passionate, knowledgeable, and just knows how to do his research. And he has no problem emailing Yuri Sadiq or Vandergriff or Bondarchuk. Like, he had no problem getting to know how Conley. He had no problem reaching out to anybody about anything to learn as much as he could about the event. And so I got to learn through him learning.
Awesome. Yeah.
So that's kind of set the foundation. And then I've had great, Derek Yush, who's at Alabama. I've sat in on a lot of his presentations, talked to him, watched a practice with him, and learned a lot from him. Andy Fryman, he's a hell of a hammer coach too, and he coached me.
He's at Marshall now, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So I've been blessed and then, I mean, everything's on the internet. Like, you can go online and find articles, there's literally an article, like, how to take a girl from 0 to 70 meters in 2 years.
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
It's there.
Yeah.
You just got to be willing to look it up. I'm not as much go out on a limb like Chris, and I'm not just going to email coaches, and because I know, like, as a coach now, like, dude, I've got 20 emails that I'm not going to be able to read till 11 o'clock tonight.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So how did a boy from Wichita Falls wind up at Sam Houston? We got to figure this out. So
Yeah.
what kind of high school thrower were you? Who had influence on you as a young boy to pique your interest to start throwing?
So I've always had the uncanny ability just to throw things far. Like elementary school, I was the baseball throwing champion.
Oh.
Yeah.
So like I just could throw things far from a young age. Like I would try and throw a Nerf whistling football from one end of my street to the other. And like it was a long way, but that's kind of where it all started for me. And so I had some great coaches in high school, Mark Dobson, who he just kind of instilled some passion in me. He's really kind of like he may not have known everything about throwing, but he was willing to sit there, watch with me, and experiment with me, and just talk to me. And so he kind of helped me throughout that process. He brought in some other people and kind of helped me through some stuff. But I think I threw like 173 and 59.11 in high school. So pretty good, but
Yeah.
never made a state meet.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah. And were you at Ryder? What high school?
Ryder High School.
Ryder High School. Okay. So back then y'all were 4A, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I remember.
So
Okay.
during the recruiting process, there was some interest from Texas Tech and UTA and some other schools, and I really wanted to go to UT. But I emailed Coach Mario, and he was like, "Hey, look, sorry, like our standards to walk on are like 185 and 60 feet." And I was like, "Well, there goes my dream." And so I'm
Yeah.
standing in line at the actually Coach Charlotte Collier called me, and we'd been chatting for a little bit, brought me down on a visit, and this was towards the end of my track season, and driving through into Huntsville, and then there's green. Like I'd never seen green trees before.
Yep. From Wichita Falls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have mesquite pastures, and
Yes.
that's it. So like seeing green trees and green grass and flowers growing, I was like, this place is beautiful. And so yeah, I fell in love with it. Coach Curtis Collier, one of the greatest men I know, was the head coach there. His wife was my first coach, and then she got pregnant, and they started a family, and then he was my coach, and then he brought in Fryman, but Coach Collier, really sold me on Sam Houston, and what it could be, and what it turned out to be. He didn't sell me a lie. He told me what it was, good and bad. And that's kind of where I wanted to be.
Awesome.
It was either that or Prairie View. Prairie View called late, and, after I'd already committed, so I had to tell them.
Now, did you play football in high school? Were you basketball?
I played football. So I was starting offensive tackle. I did some deep snapping. I was backup quarterback.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so a lot of on the offensive side. And when I was in JV, I played both sides of the ball. But yeah, so football was my first love, and I thought, well, shoot, like I'm gonna go to Sam Houston, and I'm gonna walk onto the football team.
Yeah.
I didn't know how things work. Most kids don't. Like, I'm gonna go do track, but I'm gonna walk onto the football team. And they were like, yeah, you can walk onto the football team, but your scholarship money's coming back to us.
Oh.
No. Yeah. So I was like, well, I'm gonna stick to this track thing.
Yeah.
And there were times, I mean, my sophomore year, I called my mom, and I was like, I want to come home. Like, this is, like, I'm homesick. Like, this isn't for me. Like, and so, like, there was a lot of that too. But ultimately, Coach Collier, really helped me through a lot of stuff, a lot of hard times.
Awesome. Now, final thing, when you were in high school, were you a late developer in your size and stuff? Because you're what, 6'3", 6'4" now.
Yeah, I don't know. I still see myself as 6'1", 200 pounds. Like, no, I was really awkward. Like I grew fast, and it took me a long time to develop some kinesthetic awareness. Like if I didn't have like an arm, then I wouldn't have been good. Like but once I developed it, like, and I learned a skill, like it stuck with me. So I was a fairly late bloomer. But I could, like, I was, I think I threw 50 feet as a sophomore,
Oh,
with the
wow.
12-pound shot put. I was on the varsity team
Yeah.
as a sophomore. Qualified for regionals, but was ineligible because I had a bad grade. Junior year, I think I threw like I don't even remember, but yeah, I just kind of kept going, and then with Sam Houston, I had the opportunity to learn the javelin, and that was kind of my first like, oh, this is my sport. But I ended up just throwing my arm out because I just wanted to chunk it instead of actually work it.
Yeah. Wow. Were you a glider in the shot put?
In high school, yes.
Were you?
In college, yes, until Coach Fryman got there and then started working on the rotational technique. And I still use this philosophy today. What we were doing is we were working our discus movement from a different leverage standpoint.
Yes.
And that really kind of helped develop some of the things. So I had a pretty big jump from my junior year in college to my senior year of college whenever we started implementing some of that stuff.
Really? Okay. Cool. Cool. Well, okay. So, do you think the glide is dead?
No.
Because universal, because if you watch the Worlds now or the Olympics, there's only a couple people maybe gliding on the female side, but on the men's side, everything's rotational.
Right. No, I don't think the glide's dead. I just think the type of athlete it takes to be successful in the glide, they're playing other sports.
Good point.
Mm-hmm.
The world record for the shot put isn't throwing the shot put, like he's playing basketball.
Yeah.
Like, in my mind, like those athletes, there's something just like team sports in that environment is incredible. And if you're if you're a little bit extroverted and you'd love to socialize and you love that part of it, then a team sport works for you. Most track athletes tend to be more introverted, more nose to the grindstone, just putting in work. And so yeah, I think Kobe Bryant could have been the world record holder in the discus.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why I don't think the glide's dead, because those athletes are still out there.
Yeah.
They're just doing other sports, and it's going to take one athlete, like a Ryan Krauser, somebody that's a post to, in basketball, to just, take to the shot put and throw 24 meters, in my opinion. Now, the likelihood of that happening in our lifetime, as things are changing and money just keeps getting dumped into professional sports, is very low, because track and field, like there's no money in it.
Yeah.
There's really nothing but the joy and the camaraderie amongst the throwers, and to say that you're the best in the world at something as an individual.
But the sport, especially of throwing, seems like it's becoming more popular, especially in the youth a little bit. I feel like there is a little bit more popularity of kids throwing. Even Janelle had a young girl come in her class today, and she was a multi-sport athlete. But on the end, she definitely tied in that I'm a thrower as well. So we're seeing more people come to that, maybe even on the girl side versus the boy side. What's your perspective on that? Do you feel like in the U.S. we're becoming a little bit more popular?
I don't disagree with you. You look at some of the people in the state right now within high school, dude, there's some crazy marks coming out now, and these are girls that probably would have been playing volleyball 10 years ago. So I don't disagree with you there. But that's never been an issue in track and field. Popularity, like track and field is the most participated in sport in America.
That's great point.
So it's not a popularity issue. In my opinion, what it's going to take is some sort of systematic approach to developing athletes, much like what they've done in China and in Europe and in Russia. Like they're taking kids, and they're like there's coaches throughout their age group, and they're being taught very consistently across the board. Ultimately, I think the problem lies in you get a $2,000 stipend to coach track and field. And so what like a football coach is gonna be like, yeah, I'll take the $2,000. Like my great granddad's uncle threw the shot put at the Olympics. Like, come on, bro. Like that doesn't make you an expert in it.
Yeah.
And they're not willing to learn or listen or do the extra, because for them, like, they're a football coach first, and this is getting their kids to do some explosive stuff in the off season.
Yeah.
They don't treat it like it's a skill.
Nope.
And it's just like, yeah, you gotta punch it, and they're throwing their heads down, they're pulling the left side away, and it's like, all right, like,
Yeah.
can we just teach them some basics, like, across the board? Let's do something to standardize, just like we do everything in school is standardized testing, right? Standardized meal plans, let's standardize throwing. Let's just go ahead and make it standard across, and let the kids just have fun and see who can throw the furthest.
Great point. Great.
Yeah.
But then that hurts y'all, right? Because then, coaches coaches are actually, competent, and then that eliminates a market for wonderful groups like yourself.
Well, hopefully we'll still have a market.
We'll still find the kids who want to do it year round instead of just in that little short window, which is so crazy. Like, I didn't even realize, like, when my daughter was throwing, that summer track was a thing, and she graduated in 2012. Like, why did we not know that? I mean, she was, went to state in the discus, and, I didn't know she could have been doing summer track. We would have probably put her in some summer track, but it just.
Yeah. Well, it's because it's not a YMCA or a Boys and Girls Club.
Well, so, and I was a high school coach. I mean, I was in the coaching world, in the high school coaching world, and I didn't know you could go throw in summer track and that there were people being successful until my daughter started throwing against Shelby Vaughn. And I was like, oh, you go where? You did what? You can do that? Oh, right. It's like, oh, I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah.
But I think that comes back to the point you asked me about the participation, is that opportunity that people like yourself are doing with the clubs and the private coaching, that has grown tremendously since 2012.
Yes.
Yes. So, and even with technology now, you can get coached through Zoom. You can send in videos for analysis. Like, you can get training plans off the internet. I think ultimately that's why I think it's getting better, like what we mentioned. I got off on a tangent earlier, but I think ultimately, because of people like yourself, the servant mindset, the want to help kids out, and it's fun, right? Like, we have the best job in the world. We get to teach people how to throw something. The most basic thing we do as humans, before we learn to walk, talk, or crawl, we're throwing our Cheerios, we're throwing our pacifier, and we're throwing fits.
Yeah, that's so true.
It made me think of something. I don't think I ever told you this. When we came back from North Carolina, when I went to the AAU, watching the 10-year-olds, there were some girls out there rotating in the shot put with throwing shoes. I don't think these girls, and I remember, and then it left me because all the other chaos, thinking, wow, like, they legitimately were throwing at that age. And like, this little girl out there doing this rotation. And I was like, okay. And even some 12-year-olds, instead of just, the shuffle throw, when you watch the finals of that, it made me think, okay. Yeah,
sure.
And those were, kids from all over the U.S. at that AAU thing. So
for sure.
Back to my point, it's a skill. Anybody can learn a skill.
Yeah, for sure, dude. I challenge you while you're at North Texas, man. One thing too is maybe get some clinics, and we can get some of these high school coaches in this area to come talk and listen to your philosophy, because I think it would resonate with a lot of other coaches, and it would motivate them to maybe say, okay, I need to take throwing a little bit more seriously.
Yeah, no, I'd love to do that. I'd love to do some free stuff. I'd love to do some more, some free basic stuff. I'd love to do some larger, like, private, clinics and camps and things like that. Just trying to, that we have a great facility now to where we can do that, and we can talk all aspects of training, from the athletic development to the rehab, injury prevention, to strength and conditioning. Like, we've got all the facilities and all the resources here now, and that's one of the next things that's on my to-do list, is to really, all right, it's time for me to start giving back to the throwing community, not just my athletes. A few years ago, I was able to do a presentation for the USTFCCCA, the United States Track and Field and Cross Country Coaches Association, our governing body for NCAA track and field. I've given another private clinic out in, I think, Tatum, 10, 15 years ago. So it's something that I do want to do.
Awesome.
So, hopefully you can hold me accountable to that.
Yeah,
we'll try.
Well, I think it's needed, being I was a middle school coach forever and high school coach, knowing that there are coaches out there that would want to learn, whether they're football coaches or whatever, because they want to excel at what they're doing. So
Right.
they may be like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I want to learn enough, to just get that $2,000 stipend. But they are out there. Then there are those who sit on the 5-gallon bucket and never get up.
Right. And
They go throw it again, but yeah.
And I'm open. If any coaches ever want to come view a practice or come and hang out, this is where I'm at, 10 to 12 hours a day. If people want to come to me and learn and talk with me and pick my brain, I'm all for it. It's just, especially once school starts, from August till May, it's 8 hours a day out there on the track, another 2 hours a day checking emails, another 2 hours a day doing administrative work.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a
For sure.
lot.
So how's the little one? How's it being a dad? How's your wife doing? I bet you're glad. We're going to close this up. How's being a dad treating you?
I have a question then after that, but
All
go
right.
ahead.
Answer my question first.
Oh, we can talk all night if y'all want. My family's
No.
All that's waiting on him is an air mattress, right?
Be nice.
His wife and kid aren't there. So.
We're going to bring you some Starbucks at 7 in the morning.
No, it's being a dad's great. It's one of my proudest accomplishments. Nothing else, none of my accomplishments as an athlete can stack up against seeing my daughter and being with her and watching her play and grow and develop. It's crazy. She's going to be 3 years old in December, but she acts like a teenager already. Yeah, I mean, she's like 6 foot tall, like 200 pounds. It's insane.
Yeah.
Right.
No
Yeah,
blinds. Rotation.
They grow up so fast. Like we bought our house in November, 2 Novembers ago. So we haven't even been in this house 2 years. But she couldn't even walk, and now she's running around, full sentences, having full blown conversations.
Awesome.
Squats better than any athlete I've ever had. I mean, she's ambidextrous. She throws with both hands.
There you go.
So no, it's fantastic. My wife she's a super trooper. She dealt with a sick baby for a week. We were showing a house, so she had to clean the house top to bottom every day, have it show ready, take care of a sick baby, and go to work from home with a sick baby. My wife is amazing, and she's the one who allows me to do this. She's the breadwinner, she's the brains. I don't know why she's with me, except that we have a wonderful daughter now. To be honest, I'm nothing compared to her.
Now, was she an athlete at Sam?
She was a cheerleader.
Okay.
But yeah, her athletic prowess is far greater than mine.
Oh yeah.
Maybe bashing.
She's fast twitch, does all the flips. Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah. So but yeah, no, being a dad's fantastic, and it's really helping me become a better coach because,
Patience.
with my daughter, she doesn't learn by me telling her.
Mm-hmm.
It's mimicry. What we do in the house, she does. And she does it really well. She does it better than us. And the way she finds ways to optimize things, I didn't teach her to kick the blanket up with her feet and grab it and pull it over her head. She just figured that out. I'm cold, it's bright, I want my blanket. So the way children learn to optimize things and be efficient, and their ability to mimic and just pick up on things, it's helping me become a better coach. And it's holding, I've always been if I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna show you, and I'm gonna make sure I kind of overemphasize some of the technical flaws. So if you're breaking in the posture, I'm gonna overemphasize. But then also when I drill something, I'm gonna make sure I'm doing it relatively well. And if there's a flaw in it, I'm gonna explain to you, well, in this position, I dropped my left hand and that kind of pulled me off my axis, whatever it is. So that's where my daughter's really helping me become a better coach.
Awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
That's awesome.
But it's
I was
amazing.
just going to ask, I don't want you to pick out your most I guess, best athlete. I don't know why I use air quotes, but you won a lot as a team. Sam Houston won a lot of those conference championships. Is there one year that you can pick out that it was just your favorite? I was going to say athlete, but you had too many and you don't want to hurt anybody's
Chris
feelings.
Cralle.
Well, don't say Chris.
No.
But like
No.
one team, 1 year.
Yeah, no,
whether
this
it
is
was
this
the
is
whole
pretty easy.
team.
So
Okay.
it was when we were at Southeastern Louisiana.
Okay.
That conference meet, I don't remember what year. I just know we had a lot of
it was
adversity.
Maybe
Southeastern
the one I was talking
Louisiana.
about.
Southeastern Louisiana, Coach McKay was there. Lucas McKay, who just
Yeah.
took a job, I believe, at Arizona.
Yeah, he's at Arizona.
His group put it on us. I think their men throwers scored like 100 points that conference meet, just completely annihilated us.
Oh, wow.
And I had a really young group. It was Aaron Akins, Michael Nichols, Haley Daniels. It was a really young group. And it was one of those like, guys, if they can do it, we can do it too. So from that regard, as a coach, it was a big kick in the butt. But as a team, we also lost. And we lost, I think we lost to Southeastern on the men's side and SFA on the women's side. And there were some critical coaching issues that we had that put us in positions to fail. There were some unforeseen instances, like unforeseen circumstances. We had a pole vaulter like get kicked out, miss the mat, and break his back.
Oh, wow.
So, but through all of that, that is my favorite competition because like it instills to me like the victories and defeat, the lessons learned, I loved that group so much, like and we put so much into it, and it didn't matter. At the end of the day, nobody cares how hard you work or how much passion you have. Track and field is purely objective. Who throws furthest, who runs fastest, who jumps highest wins.
Yeah.
And
Thank you.
it just pushed us to work harder. And that group ended up doing some amazing things from a young age, like from Michael Nichols fouling out of the conference meet to throwing, almost 18 meters, from Aaron Akins being 180 pounds and throwing the hammer 68 meters and the discus 58 meters. Yeah, a lot of people don't realize how talented Aaron Akins was.
Wow.
He missed Crawley's school record by a centimeter.
Wow, really? At 180 pounds?
Well, he ended up getting to about 235, 240
Yeah.
by his senior year.
Wow.
But yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So that year set the tone for everything else after.
Yeah.
And I love Coach McKay. I love Lucas. He's a good dude. But man, I hated that group. Man, that still lights my fire because my goal will be to beat whatever, like that is my record of most points put up against me, and I'm gonna put that many points up on somebody else.
Awesome. Oh, I'm sure you will, dude.
Yeah,
I'm sure you
no
will.
doubt.
Dude, the one thing I could say about you is when you talk to your old throwers or you hear that your old throwers say something about you, is they all love you to death. And that just goes to the type of person you are, how you love them, how you treat them, body, mind, and spirit, and that philosophy, because they're going to be with you forever. And that applies because, dude, hands down, in my professional opinion of doing this, you're one of my favorite coaches and one of the best coaches in the state of Texas that goes unrecognized. So you are one of the best. And if anybody ever asks me that, you're going to be at one of the top of my list for sure, man. So,
well, I appreciate that, but
a little man crush going on here.
I'm just trying to brown nose because I want access to that throwing area.
Come on with it. For sure. We can. I mean, y'all are. We can schedule some regular stuff in the summers.
Okay.
And get y'all out here as a group, and see what we can do. See if I could help y'all out in any way.
Awesome. And I do want to come watch one of the practices for sure. So
anytime. So.
Well, brother, appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. We are excited to have you in DFW. North Texas is lucky to have you and Coach Marshall. And we hope y'all kick some ass in the next 4 to 5 years up there and win a whole bunch of conference championships for sure.
Hey, I appreciate what y'all are doing. Y'all don't get enough love and recognition for what y'all are doing too. Your professional jobs, your podcast, your throws club. But this podcast is near and dear to my heart because it's helping push the message of throws. So I appreciate what y'all are doing as well.
Thank you. Thank you. We appreciate.
We did have share at when we were in Austin, where we were, that little boy came up to us.
Yeah.
It was at a meet this summer, and some dad and little boy came up and go, "Hey, we heard your voice and we've listened to your podcast." He was an 11-year-old boy from another club, and he said, my son goes, "Dad, it's that guy on that podcast because he's so loud."
Yeah.
So we were like, "Wow, people."
That's all I get is people say I'm loud.
Hey.
But I was like, "Wow, people really do listen." And it's because we get to talk to great people that we always end these and be like, "Oh my gosh, that's so."
Yeah.
It's just
for sure. So,
it's awesome to us. So.
Yeah. And you're one reason we do this because of you. Because, dude, just coming from nothing from Wichita Falls, going to Sam Houston and turning yourself into a great thrower and making the trials and throwing as far as you did, but just even becoming a better coach and just continue to move it forward with the goals of being a head coach and being in the Power 5. That's great inspiration. You're going to grow the sport along with what we're trying to do, when people hear this. So we're going to keep getting you out there, man, for sure.
Hey, I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all.
All right, brother. Be good, man. Have a good evening.
Hey, y'all too.
Oh, wow. We kind of speechless, tongue-tied a little bit. John's man crush. John's just one of the best guys in the world. But he just basically opened up his thoughts and views and perspective of throwing and went in great detail from just the whole body, mind experience, coaching the whole person 360, but also the mental side of it. And that's backed up with a sports psychologist, and just how he trains, his throws in the weight room, but also the technical aspect of it. It's all tied in with a purpose and intention for that patient, for that thrower to get better. Yeah, for that thrower to get better. He's just unbelievable with his thoughts, the movements, just thinking, just relating to back his movements of talking about what his daughter did and how she moves and throwing ambidextrously, and just we throw before we walk. And I think his entire process is kind of relates to that thought process.
He's a student of the game, because throwing's not a game. He's a student of his art, of his craft.
Very good.
Like he is growing, like we mentioned, growth mindset person, ready to challenge himself outside of Sam Houston and then continue to grow. And that's the kind of coaches we need. Yeah. We need those at all levels who are going to pour into kids, who are going to not be selfish. He talked about he's going to give back to those that helped him and understand the whole athlete. And that's a lot. And then he, husband and a father.
And I like the fact that he's
which is awesome.
The quote about the mental side of being that monster, having an edge, because I think kids are so subconsciously now worried about what their people view them as, and they don't want to get out of their comfort zone. That kids that really have an edge now, that are that quote unquote monster, those are kids that go out there and be successful, because it's right. It's easy to be in a team sport where you don't necessarily have to stand out and there's camaraderie, but to be a successful in the throwing, you kind of almost have to be a little bit of introvert, like he said, and to really go out there to have that edge about you to really throw far. But just amazing. I'm just very grateful he opened up his thoughts and views on his weight program, his technical philosophy, and what he looks for in kids and what his ambitions are too.
And throwing is a skill. If you want to learn to throw, everybody can learn new skills.
Yes.
It's a skill.
So I encourage everybody to just keep up with University of North Texas and what Jon Tipton's doing up there, because I promise you he's going to have those kids ready, and they're going to be putting up big marks with the facilities and everything they got going on up there.
Awesome. All right, guys, let's thank our sponsors again. Texas Track and Field Coaches Association, ttfca.org. Go look up all the information. Like I said, indoor meets are starting to be posted, right?
They haven't been, they're not posted yet. We're still trying to wait for them to be posted, but there's outdoor schedules already up.
Outdoor schedules up. You got the winter clinic, for some of the track coaches we talk to here, if you're, football is your main thing and track's your side sport, whether it's throwing or anything in track and field, you need to participate in these clinics and soak up all the knowledge that you can about, excel. Don't be an average coach and just show up. Excel at what you're doing and just be better. Even if it's not your passion.
What better time to go listen to Adam Setliff, two-time Olympian, Steven Sines, rotational shot put, former Olympian, just former guest on the podcast. Tremendous. Boosh Snake Snyder is going to be on there as well. So it's going to be a really, really good clinic. So go register and sign up for that.
Yeah, continue to grow. All right, fourthrows.com. You need some quality implements priced right. Use the code TalkingThrows10 to get 10% off. Porta-Circle.com. Also use the code TalkingThrows10. Eventually in Texas, fall-ish, we'll get here, and then maybe winter, we'll see. And then if you're in the Austin area, contact Zach Phillips at, where's his number, 512-507-8347, and we will put a link to his Train Heroic program that he developed with the basic throw strength. So you guys can look at that and use the code. What's the code for that one? Throws 10 to get 20% off his program.
The website's Train Heroic.
Yes.
But the program is called Basic Throw Strength.
Yep.
And use Throws 10.
Yep. We'll put some links in there.
Hello, Talking Throws Texas podcasters. I'm Bruce Caldwell. I'm here today to introduce the Fiber Sport Discus. Yes, many of you thought I only made great vaulting poles. I have been bringing quality discuses to the throwers' hands for over 40 years. First as Cantabrian USA representative, then for the past 10 years as the Nelco discus distributor. I introduced the yellow plated discus for the plastic's best durability. If your Fiber Sport discus breaks, we replace it. Our studies have reached into the science of using a wind tunnel and adding microchips to the discus to find the spin, the gravity, the flight stability of the discus. We have found it's not about rim weight anymore. It's more about creating a balanced stability to allow the discus to fly and surf the wind. Our new Fiber Sport discus is made to be selected to fit your needs, no matter the weather, no matter the conditions. Check out our discus selection guide at fibersportdiscus.com and find a dealer in your area that sells our fine product. Thank you, Jason and Janelle, for allowing me to talk with your listeners on Talk and Throws Texas Style.
And then the Throwing Factory. Look for some lessons. Throwing's a skill. We can teach you how to throw. If you want to work hard, got some hard work ethic, and gosh, like John said, we would throw in Cheerios since we were babies. That's the first thing we do. We throw pacifiers, we throw stuff. You ever do that? Work on that technique.
Lifting DFW Human Performance. We're selling a trailer. Go to the website. We're scheduling workouts right now. If you're 10, 11, 12-year-olds and want to get started with Olympic lifting, reach out to me. If you're 11, 12-year-old wanting to start discus, reach out to us. Anything we can do it through the club or through Lifting DFW. Go to that website. And if you're interested in the trailer, purchasing one, reach out to me and I can give you the details. Thank you. I'll see y'all down the road.
That's it.